You're listening to the Good Old Boys Fantasy Football Podcast. Now here's your hosts, Kevin, Derek, and Alex.
All right, and welcome in, ladies and gentlemen, to another episode of the Good Old Boys Fantasy Football Podcast. I am Derek, and joined as always by your co-hosts, Kevin and Alex. Gentlemen, how we doing?
Doing pretty good. Little bummed our Denver Nuggets decided to poo the bed over the weekend. And, the first quarter looked good. The last three, not so much. But nevertheless, so Denver now has nothing to talk about until training camp starts for the Broncos because the Rockies are relevant and the worst run team in baseball, hands down right now. So, it is what it is. We got conference finals in the NBA and the NHL. So it is exciting playoff sports, if you just want to be a connoisseur. The Players Championship was it the Players? That was last week?
It was the
PGA.
PGA was last week, obviously F1, NASCAR. So we do have some things going on. It just it's not quite the same. Like this is kind of that weird time period if you root for teams in other sports who aren't in the playoffs, because you don't know if you really want to watch it. You kind of do, you kind of don't. And so then, I'm just tuning into the news. Is really football news, if anything. Like I'm just kind of keeping my ear in on that and seeing what's going on with this tush push and seeing if that's going to be banned. Flag football, like the NFL owners allowing players to participate in the Olympics for flag football.
Yeah, we'll chat about that here.
Yeah. That might be a good exercise on its own. One time is just pick your best six-man team. There you go. Pick your best six-man flag football team.
And real quick, before we get going into that, I do want to throw it out there that we're going to do a mock draft tonight. Little redraft type of mock draft, single QB, all that fun stuff. For anybody out there wanting to rock and roll in a mock draft with us, shoot us over the sleeper handle, and we'll get you in there. Right, we got 9 spots open tonight, so if anybody's wanting to play along, shoot us that sleeper handle, and we'll get you in there.
This weekend, as Kevin was kind of lamenting the death of a Denver sports season, this weekend is really great if you're a fan of things on four wheels that go fast. It's Monaco Grand Prix, Indy 500, Coca-Cola, or whatever the hell they're calling it, Charlotte Race 600. Kyle Larson's going to attempt the double again this year, the Indy 500 and the Coke 600. So that'll be that's a day. If you're very interested in that stuff, it starts kind of in the morning and continues on throughout the course of the day. I will be locked in on Sunday for that. That is the thing that I have booked out. We're taking it easy. Appreciate you guys holding down the fort while I was gone, celebrating my anniversary last week. And so that's why I wasn't here last week. But because of that, we are taking things easy for the next couple of weeks. And so that means that it means I won't get to sit in front of a TV and watch racing all day. It means I'm going to get a bunch of crap done around the house. But my breaks, I'm going to sneak in a little bit of TV viewing time.
That's awesome. And we do have Jamie chiming in the chat saying the great old boys, and Jamie, the invite has been sent for the mock.
Just pick a random spot, Jamie.
We get to play with Jamie.
Preferably not in front of me or around me. Go ahead and pick somewhere else. Oh, a bold selection.
It don't matter. It's all good.
Yeah. So let's talk about these NFL meetings and the perhaps abolishment.
There you go.
Word in there somewhere of the tush push. The Green Bay Packers carrying the torch to get rid of the tush push in the NFL. I am of the camp that if you can't stop it, figure it out. That's where I am. Figure out a way to stop it. Don't let them get into a 4th and 1 situation. That's the camp
They're running it
third and play.
4th and 1.
What's that?
They're running it 3rd and 2 and 4th and 1 sometimes. And it is what it is. Here's where I struggle is they're putting it under the cover of player safety.
Oh no, the Packers amending that thing doesn't necessarily fall into that anymore.
Oh, did they amend it?
They did. They amended it more from a pace of play side of things because the Eagles, who run the tush push, the brotherly shove more than anybody, were the only team in the NFL last season that had more than 32 minutes of time of possession on average, right? No other team got above that. The Eagles came in at 32 minutes and 21 seconds as an average time of possession, right? And so that and the tush push apparently was the reason behind that. They had all of that, which
that's great. That's fantastic.
Right.
The best offense, right? The Super Bowl champion offense that put up a 50 spot multiple times throughout the course of the playoffs, right? Was accused of having the football for too long. Is that not the object of the game?
Right.
Exactly. Sour grapes. You had it spot on. Sour grapes. And so before the Packers amended it, I did not realize that. So thank you for pointing it out. The player safety aspect, I was going to debunk right away because I could not find any record of a single player being hurt because of that play. There are no neck injuries, no back injuries. There's no torn Achilles from pushing in on it. There's no, torn tricep or concussion even because of that play.
Right.
That I could find. I could be mistaken, and maybe I didn't find the right source, but I could not find it. And so the player safety thing for me, in my research, because I couldn't find it, that's why I tossed it.
Right.
Now, pace of play. How is them snapping the ball with 13 seconds left on 4th and 1 any different than their quarterback who has the ball under 2 minutes and lets the clock run down to 0?
Right.
You're chunking up time of possession. You get an extra 2 minutes of time of possession if you are leading with under 2 minutes to go in the fourth quarter. When the other team doesn't have timeouts, there's no play there.
Right. And keep in mind too, right? The Packers, the Packers, when they faced the Eagles, I believe the Eagles only ran the tush push once, the brotherly shove once in that playoff game. That the Eagles ended up going on and winning by 2 possessions, right? But somehow that was that's enough to have drastically changed the outcome on that. Which again, right? I'm kind of in the camp Alex cited earlier that if you can't stop it, that's a you problem. That's not the team that's able to do it and nobody else can's problem, right?
Yeah.
And the two teams that run it the most, right? The Buffalo Bills and the Eagles, they tend to run it more than anybody else in the league. Well, guess what? They also have quarterbacks that are just beast and can move a pile on their own, right? Jalen Hurts can squat over 600 pounds, right? You put a center and a guard, and you just get them with a little bit of push, right? You get these big boys in front of him getting down low and driving into that pile, and then you allow Jalen Hurts to come behind that. You can make the argument, sure, that Saquon Barkley or one of these other guys coming behind him and pushing does something there, but I don't know that it's enough that it drastically changes the outcome of 90% of those plays.
Well, a lot of this tush push is about leverage, right?
Right.
It's been so. How, as a scout, defensive coordinator, defensive line coach, how have you not found a way to get lower than that offensive line?
Right.
I mean,
isn't that just fundamentals? It's pad level and push. That is football. pad level and push.
That's
And
day
so
one.
what? Right. And so you can't change it to have someone push you over, but you can pull people through.
And I believe that
So
was one of the amendments, is that they're doing it that you can't
They're
push.
trying
pull.
to do pull as well. That was another. I did see that today, that they were amending it so that you couldn't push nor pull.
this
Which
is
again, like,
this is why Green Bay was our grandfather's team, and no one likes them anymore. Like, you are a small, insignificant market who hasn't done jack diddly squat since Brett Favre was sending eggplant pics to reporters. And
that's the thing.
now you guys are, in the playoffs because your division had been bad for years, and now you actually have to fight for that. Like, it's sour grapes. Like, this makes me really dislike Green Bay. And for the most part, I've never had anything against this organization. They've just always kind of been there. And now, like, you go to the bottom of the heap. Like, you are no higher in my regard than the Raiders.
Well, and I find it funny, the organization, right? Like, just to pick on Green Bay here a little bit, but right, Green Bay had in a league that is a quarterback driven league, and very much so, right? The um 30 plus years of Hall of Fame quarterback play under center. They managed to get 2 Super Bowls and a third trip. Like, that's it, right? Like, you've seen several other teams with a single quarterback manage to get that job done in much shorter amounts of time there, right? Like, so the simple fact of that play, I don't know that it does that much for that. Quite frankly, I want to see teams get creative and see a Frankie Louvu type of play on the defensive side of things, where they're working on trying to time that thing. Okay, cool. We're gonna see this tush push. We're gonna see a linebacker coming over the top and just torpedo the thing. Like, that's what I would like to see. That would be entertaining, right?
The classic.
Right, but
There's just other things for them to work on. Like, do
Yeah.
something. Do we need the extra point, or could we come up with something a little bit more fun? Do we need the kickoff, or could we do something that's a little bit more fun? Like, they've abolished basically the onside kick.
Right.
I mean, and it's still
Yeah.
available, but they've killed it. They've killed the onside kick surprise. Like, the no fun league is showing its way, and I would think for as many offensive minds as there are in the NFL, you have to appreciate what they've come up with. Like, it's a single play that's used anywhere from 1 to 4, maybe 5 times a game in certain situations, right? It's one single play that has been a topic of conversation for the last 3 years now, because no one else thought of this, and they can't figure out how it keeps working.
Right.
Like, do your job and stop the ball.
That's a throwback to a guy no longer in the league, right?
Right.
Right.
Do your job.
Right.
Do your job. Yep, but you knew exactly what I was going with, right? So it's one of those things. So
And you know what, though?
I hope it doesn't pass. And I
So,
have no
yeah.
I have no fanfare for the Eagles other than Jalen Hurts has been on my fantasy roster in our home league for some years now. Like, that's my fanfare for the Eagles, is I like Jalen Hurts, but the team in general, I don't have any rooting interest in it. I just let them have it. Let them have it. Do something better than them. Right? The reason the Eagles have time of possession, look at Jalen Hurts' ADOT last year. Look at how efficient Saquon Barkley was. Right? Take out the tush push. How many first downs did you get because of a run from Saquon last year?
Many.
Right? Like, I shouldn't say it's nothing. It has such a minuscule effect that there is no way that the tush push play over the course of a season, right? A 17-game regular season attributed to 34 minutes in possession. To get to that 2 minutes to be over 30.
Right.
It's just it's physically impossible.
Right. Well, and quite frankly, if they abolish that, maybe we'll start getting the days of a Fridge Perry back in the backfield as the up back, and we're just seeing this. We're seeing a team have to try and stop a 300+ pound man
because
driving the
that,
football.
in terms of player safety, is so much better. Let's get somebody going full bore. Let's get a 300-pounder going full bore at these guys instead of where we're meeting rugby style, and the collision is not as intense amongst these dudes. It's ridiculous.
You might as well just
It's
call for a
ridiculous.
coin flip. Like,
Yeah. Or Rochambeau for it, and winner gets the first down or the ball. Like, it's part of the game.
Sissified is a word that we used back when we were younger, right? It's not common dialect anymore, but
it is part of the
sissified.
game. Be better than the dude that lines up across from you. Win your battle, right?
Do your job.
Do your job. Hey, but the fun stuff that came out of this is that we're going to see NFL players in the Olympics,
right?
For some flag football. And Kevin, I like your idea, and maybe we'll come back to this in a future episode.
Do a fantasy
our 7-on-7 Olympic, our favorite 7-on-7 Olympic roster, which I've already seen some good stuff floating out there. I saw a post from somebody that was like, just this guy with like this look of terror in his eyes, and he's like the Lithuanian car salesman when Henry gets the ball in the backfield.
Right. That's, I mean, yay for us, right? Always pro-American. Does any other country even submit a team at this point? Like, what's the point?
I do think there will be. I do think that there will be good teams. I think Canada will supply a good team. Yeah. I think the UK will be able to supply a decent team. I think that we're about to find a lot of dudes that have a lot of strange lineage come out within the next couple of years when they miss out on making Team USA.
Right. And you start seeing some of the stuff with basketball going on there.
Yeah.
But those guys
my
brought
grandma was born over there.
Yeah, right. Like, and maybe for a little bit of diversity, so that way these guys can all go. But
it'd be cool.
This first year is going to be a joke.
Yeah, it is something fun, and I'm glad that the NFL owners had the wherewithal. And keep in mind, I mean, this is Summer Olympics, right? So like, it's really not impacting anything. The only downside, right, is if somebody gets hurt,
right,
and that's obviously what happens.
OTAs
that can happen at training camp, right? That can happen at OTAs.
It can happen at the Pro Bowl, right? A meaningless game. Yeah, these guys could do that, and exactly what's going to happen. It's going to be like the dream team scenario. They're going to come out in the first game like, okay, they're going to steamroll whoever, Iceland or whoever the heck they play the first game, and then the second game they're going to get caught on their heels a little bit, and maybe they squeak by. Maybe there's an upset and some team wins their equivalent of Olympic gold or the Super Bowl by beating the Americans, and then someone on that team is going to be like, like, homie, don't play that game. And then they're just going to steamroll everybody else to get to the gold medal. Like, it just, mark it down and call it good, because we all know what's going to happen this first round. Get a couple down the road and it might change a little bit, but it took basketball years for the Euros and the Asia market to even be able to compete. Right? Like, it really did take them years once the NBA started sending professionals over there. The rules might be slightly different, but the game's the same. See ball, get ball, or get ball, put it in the end zone.
Right.
Okay. So I've got a few more according to this quick Google AI search that I've done. The teams that are likely to be in the running on the men's side: USA, Austria, Mexico, Germany, France, and Italy. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. There's only 6 teams that are going to be competing in this tournament. There's only 6 countries in both men's and women's. And honestly, I think the women's is going to be darn entertaining too. And I think we're going to see some really good athletes out there.
Say those countries one more time for me.
Yeah, sure. For the men's side, USA, Austria, which is kind of the wild card for me, Mexico, Germany, France, and Italy. Those are according to the IFAF's world rankings, which the IFAF, if you were unaware, and I know you guys know what it is, but I'll say it for everybody else, is the International Federation of American Football. And they will decide how how you qualify later.
Interesting.
Yeah. Very. So
I'm excited for it. It's one player per team, right? So you get one, which is kind of nice, I guess.
Swana.
I like this conversation.
I'm with you.
I was just saying, at that point, do you suppose we can go and talk some country to hosting us for the Olympics and putting us in for football?
Listen, I mean, and you see, honestly, I'm surprised Austria. I mean, Austria, okay, but I'm surprised Australia doesn't have, some rugby turned football team that they would put in there just to see if things got interesting. Like they forget the rules and just jacks.
Can you imagine like New Zealand brings
Lord.
out the All Blacks, right? And they're just like, we don't care about your flags.
Although,
get out of my way. I don't care about your flags.
Oh my gosh, that's awesome. Like we'll see how it goes. But I'm excited. Like it's better than breakdancing.
Yes, it'll be. I'm sure it should be more entertaining than that.
Like it's more entertaining than breakdancing. Like they will actually put football. This will be prime time. Every single game will be prime time Olympic television because they know all the Americans will tune into it, and our ratings will surpass everybody else's. So,
yeah, very well could. So,
Jamie, you're right.
Right. And it's in LA, right? Yeah. So like they can control when those games are. It's for sure going to be like, it's going to be always gymnastics and swimming, right? Those are your prime times. Those will probably be early, right? Before the gymnastics and swimming thing really gets into full swing. So like, this is like your first week with only 6 countries. You can knock this tournament out in a matter of 4 or 5 days, right? So it could be really, really fun and something early to watch, right? Something early.
Here you go. Here's something that Jamie added. Like they can have the older players who still ball.
It's like when you're playing MLB The Show, right? And you get like it's like you unlock a historic player and you're like, come on, Ken Griffey. Come on, Ken Griffey.
Right.
But even that, like, isn't that almost cheating? Like, okay, here you go, Tom. Here's something Tom hasn't done yet. And
yes,
we're just gonna stick you right here, and let you play, right? Him or Peyton. Like, I mean, pick one of the two.
I bet you Peyton's a coach. I bet you Peyton's the coach of the American team. I bet he is.
Eli might be. He's had a better record.
Yeah,
that's fair. Yeah, I bet you the Mannings, some way, shape, or form, are involved in this, especially given Peyton's ties to broadcasting, right? Like, and I know that NBC has the Olympic contract and everything, but like he is able to kind of transform or transcend networks with his own production company. So I can very easily see Peyton Manning either being a coach or like the analyst for this. And it'd be a lot of fun.
Yeah.
I'm sure they'll also get the NBC team in there too. Like Mike Tirico calling flag football sounds delightful to me. Like
he'd be amazing at it, wouldn't he? Like
he's amazing at everything. So it just sounds delightful to me. And they get him away from the studio gig, which he is awesome at.
Oh, I like this one. Tim Tebow at QB and Philip Lindsay at running back would get it done. Honestly,
one player per team. One player per team, Vince.
Oh, that's awesome. Like, but yeah, you could load it up. Like here's Ocho Cinco and Tio and Antonio Brown as our wide receivers, and we're gonna have Tom throw the ball. We'll get Le'Veon Bell. Let's see what he's doing these days.
Gronk out there.
Right.
Oh gosh, yeah, Gronk. Like stick Warren Sapp at
I am
tackle
curious
on the
though, like
defensive side of the ball.
What do you need? Like you need speed, right? I haven't watched a ton of
What?
high level flag football.
It's open field. It's
Mhm.
open field playmaking speed.
Yeah, that's what you need. Speed
Right?
and
Quick
and
release.
agility. Yeah.
Yeah. So you have a quick release quarterback who can dissect the play. I mean, and that's where the US is going to be coming apart, right? Like it not only is it the speed, every country has fast people. Like it's not that, it's the ability to run routes.
Right.
Right.
Like in all seriousness, if you stick Jefferson and Jamar Chase and Tyreek Hill as a 3 wide out set,
that's
you're
like
not
the ultimate fantasy team. Right there.
stopping. Oh, well, right. Like I'd love to say Cooper Kupp, but I'm afraid he'd get injured. But I mean, you just take
He'll be
good
pushing
route
40
runners.
at that point.
You don't even have to be fast. Just good route runners. You just get open. Like poof, it's gone.
But
Yeah.
imagine having to guard any of those guys without being able to contact.
Right. Yeah, you can't
See how good those guys are when you can't jam them. Yeah.
And the interesting thing too, and I know you guys didn't really tune in much to the Pro Bowl, but they had Turpin on the NFC on Eli's team. They had Turpin actually making the rushing the passer out of that. Right, the Cowboys
the running back.
Yeah, the
Or
Cowboys
the
return
slot
guy.
receiver. Yeah.
Yeah, the Cowboys return guy, and he was just getting back there. Like
I mean, that's what you got. You got to be fast.
That's what you do, right? You don't need the big. Because again, in a no contact deal, you don't need that big body, be able to move guys around type of thing. You just got to have somebody that can make a cut, get around them, and they're in there.
Saquon and Jahmyr Gibbs.
I mean, our strategy when we were in college playing flag football was to put our 2 tallest dudes as our defensive linemen, right? Just
have them stick their hands in the air and
hands up. And you got 2 6'7" dudes rolling at you with the hands. It's a little hard to play quarterback,
right? Because you can't go anything over the middle. It's all out routes, and then your cornerbacks have far more of a chance into that. Yeah, or you got to airmail it over the top. So yeah,
yelling at those guys, hands up, hands up.
I remember that. Oh yes. So,
all right, let's do this mock draft. We got everybody in. Are we good?
I think so. Real quick, I'd like this comment. Arvin Mims would have an all-time highlight reel if he's on the team. Yeah, probably. So, alrighty.
Well, Khalil Shakir and oh crap, the dude from the Saints.
Marquez
Mara.
Oh yes.
No, Shaheed.
Oh, Shaheed. Yeah. It will be interesting. It'd be interesting to see like how they determine who's going to be on the team. I think that'll be the most fun part about it. Obviously watching it, but the lead up to it will be, how the NFL does what NFL does. They make
we will actually talk about the Olympics.
Release.
Yeah, we're actually going to talk about the Olympics, guys. Holy crap!
Yeah, we will.
All right, so we got a mock. I heard
we do have a mock, and I'm actually thoroughly enjoying the Alex's plead to not have people around him.
Yeah, everybody's around me. It's great.
Everybody is now around Alex.
Thanks,
and
guys.
Kevin, you and I have a little bit of breathing room there. So
I'm gonna tell you right now before we get this thing started. I kind of feel a little bit. I'm not as locked in as maybe I should be, but I kind of feel like your buddy that you have that you invite to the league, and he's just a nice guy, so you keep him around even though you're gonna wax the floor with him because he's not drafting properly. That's a little bit what I feel like right now.
Well, at least it's early, and you said plenty of
and
time.
This is not a real league, so
right. So, and then to just kind of give everybody the breakdown on this, the setup is a redraft format. It's a half-point PPR, 1 QB, 2 running backs, 3 wide receivers, a tight end, 3 flexes, and 4 bench spots. So we're drafting 14 rounds on this one, and it is a snake draft as well. We do have some listeners and viewers having picked their spots and joined in as well. So this will be fun and interesting one. Not necessarily some of the just drafting against the computer here. So should be a good time here, and we'll go ahead and rock and roll it. And again, we're the clock is set for a much longer draft time there. I'm going to ask everybody to not take their time on that unless you're breaking down some of the picks and going through that. So we'll go ahead and get that started unless anybody has some objections.
Let's do it.
Let's do it.
All right.
Saquon first.
Saquon first. Okay.
Well, yep. Went first. Jamar Chase went next. That puts me on the clock and could go several different routes here, right? And I remember through one of the previous drafts when I took a running back here very early on, I didn't like my wide receiver core. So I'm going to change that up a little bit here. And I'm going to go with wide receiver. And you know what? Justin Jefferson's here. We're going to go ahead and make that pick.
All right. CeeDee Lamb follows him. Got Jamie on. Oh, Jamie's taking Bijan. It's a good place to start. All right. So kind of back to me going along whether I want to take wide out, wide receiver. Let's see. St. Brown's there. This is kind of at his ceiling though. Same thing with Nico. Like I love Nico. I don't think he's going to finish as wide receiver 5. So to me, that's a little bit of a reach, but I do think Gibbs has the possibility to be in the top 3 for running backs. So I'm going to go ahead and take Gibbs here and see how my roster plays out.
All right. After that, Amon-Ra St. Brown goes. Vince is up. We'll see what decision Vince goes with. He goes Nico Collins. We've got Big. Big is up. Oh, we got 2 bigs. We know who Jamie is. All right, Big on the clock here before I make my pick.
Time is clicking here. So, Neighbors, London, Thomas, Derrick Henry, Achane, Brock Bowers. All right, all those guys are on the board for him to pick.
And actually, we just got comments in both the chat and all of that person's taking Brock Bowers. So we're going to go ahead and move on.
Okay, we'll give him Brock Bowers. Okay, so that puts me on the clock here. At the 111, I've got a chance to go receiver heavy here. Neighbors is available. London, Thomas, AJ Brown is still available. But I think I'm going to do something a little silly here, and I'm going to go running back here and take Derrick Henry, which puts it says Team 12, but I've got somebody in here.
It looks like that's Duarte is.
Duarte is on the clock here at the 112. He goes Brian Thomas to Malik Neighbors, and this thing has played out wonderfully for me. I was hoping that this would work out for me. I'm going Devon Achane here. I've got Derrick Henry and Devon Achane in my first 2 picks, and I feel great.
It's an interesting deal starting off with the double running back, although I don't mind it there, right? Especially with a lot of teams having gone with the wide receiver look early on here. Going with the double running back, certainly an interesting way to rock and roll that. Alrighty, and at this point, looks like we're waiting on Big to make a selection here again. So far through the first round, right? It went Saquon Barkley, Jamar Chase, Justin Jefferson, CeeDee Lamb, Bijan Robinson, Puka Nacua, Jahmyr Gibbs, Amon-Ra St. Brown, Nico Collins, Brock Bowers, Derrick Henry, Brian Thomas were your first round selections, and so far into the second, it was Malik Neighbors and Devon Achane is how that is rocking and rolling there.
Can you set him to auto?
That is what we're going to do here. Alrighty, so the auto then picked Drake London. That put Vince back on the clock here with the 204, and we'll see what that looks like. He went AJ Brown the first time.
Tyreek Hill. Okay. All right. So back up to me. I have JSN, Trey McBride, Lad McConkey, T. Higgins. And then we get into some quarterbacks. Josh Allen, Lamar Jackson. Okay. So I have some opportunities here. I need to make a decision and whether I'm going to dive into the wide receiver pool here or whether I'm going to forfeit and maybe look some other places down the road. And I think, oh man, I think I'm gonna do something just to do it because I like this pairing here. I'm gonna go a bunch of volume. I'm gonna go Ashton Genty in the middle of the second here and do a running back stack like our friend Alex.
Okay, I like it. And
I don't know
so
if I will later on, but that's what we're rolling with.
and after that JSN went, and that puts Jamie back on the clock here. We do have a couple of comments coming in here. Vince saying this is so unlike me, but I always hate my teams if I don't smash wide receivers early and start 3 wide receiver leagues. So I understand that. Jamie saying the Biggs is from the Undroppables. Not sure why he's in. Says he wins every mock draft. Okay, interesting. Alrighty. So after Kevin picked, we had JSN, Lad McConkey, Garrett Wilson come off the board, and that puts me back on the clock here. And there are several things that I could look at going with and feel very, very comfortable and happy going with. But one of the routes that I'm going to go is I'm going to go ahead and take Bucky Irving with this pick here. After that, Trey McBride goes, Lamar Jackson, T. Higgins, Jonathan Taylor, and that puts me back on the clock here. And this puts me right where I wanted to be. I've got a couple of guys that I was really eyeballing here and really liking the selections. This is one of those that certainly a big name out there. Chris McCaffrey still on the board, and in years past, this would have been crazy to think about Chris McCaffrey's being available in the 3rd round, but nevertheless, he is there. I don't know that I'm willing to dive into that one just yet, especially with the 3rd round when I've got another running back like Josh Jacobs that I could take there. That's we've seen be very, very good. Another wide receiver out there that's been very good with Terry McLaurin, and but with this case, I do have Justin Jefferson to be my hero wide receiver here. I do not necessarily like what will likely be available to me in rounds 4 and 5 when it comes to wide receivers. So I'm going to go ahead to running back. So I'm going to go ahead and take Josh Jacobs with this pick.
All right, Terry McLaurin. Got Jamie back on the clock here. So far, he's got Bijan, Lad McConkey. Christian McCaffrey. I like that. All right. Josh Allen sneaks off the board there. So nothing wrong with that. Team 6 is Puka, JSN, and Josh Allen. That's not a bad little start here. All right. I'm going to see and kind of cross my fingers to see if this works here. But I'm going to start filling up my receiver pool here. I'm going to grab one Mr. Mike Evans. See if I can get one more 1,000-yard and double-digit touchdown season out of him.
Great pick. He was on the short list for me there. After Mike Evans goes, we see Marvin Harrison go. Devontae Adams goes to Vince. Big back on the clock here. Hopefully he's made his way in.
Yeah, we'll give that about a minute or so for him to jump in, and if not, we'll hit the old auto again on that one. But Jamie chiming in saying that he saw CMC going late first in best ball recently. Yeah, I can certainly see that. Doesn't surprise me. Also saying that he was debating Josh Allen or CMC, but he likes the later round QBs. Not a bad option there. And Evans was his other choice if he went wide receivers. So seeing some insight come through with some of the other players in the chat here. All righty.
Yeah, we'll go ahead and put him on auto here and force this pick. His team of Brock Bowers, Drake London, and Jaden Daniels. Not a horrible pick in the third round for quarterback. Interesting to see those are the three quarterbacks that have come off so far. Okay, I am running back heavy here with Derrick Henry and Devon Achane. So I do need to look at another position, be it tight end, be it wide receiver. At tight end right now, I'm not really thrilled with. I shouldn't say thrilled. I'm not incredibly in love with what's out there, and I think I could probably wait a little bit as I do pick again here in 4 tries. So I'm going to look at wide receiver. DJ Moore's top out there. Zay Flowers out there as well. Rashee Rice is there. I was really hoping that Mike Evans would make his way to me here. So I think I'm going to go DJ Moore here and hope that he and Caleb Williams have developed something over the offseason to help me out there. Breece Hall gets picked.
It's a beautiful pick late in the third. It's a really good pick late in the third.
Right.
The Breece Hall pick.
Yeah, I like Breece going in the third round. I think there's a ton of value there.
Yeah. All right. And we are back to me after Zay Flowers goes. Still Rashee Rice, Cortland Sutton. All right. I think I'm going to have to take my positional advantage here and take every young quarterback's best friend. And while I don't really like picking this here, it does feel like it is the positional advantage. I'm going to go TJ Hawkinson.
Okay.
And hope to God that there are some worthwhile receivers later on for me.
That's an interesting strategy through 4 rounds with 1 wide receiver and a start 3.
Yep. We're going to have some fun.
All right. I like it. It's an interesting look, and I'm excited to see how you bring it home on this one. So
go ahead and force this pick, Derek.
Yeah. We'll go ahead and just hit the old auto pick again on that one, which is James Cook. That puts Vince back on the clock here, and we'll see how that one rock and rolls.
Vince is going for a very unlike me, and he is just hammering whiteouts, which means I'm probably not going to have any because Vince is going to bogart the whole position here.
I do really like that Rashee Rice pick in the 4th.
Yeah, I was leaning hard towards that Rashee Rice pick.
You and me both.
Okay. Let's see here. So I have Gibbs, Genty, Mike Evans. Obviously we got start 3 receivers, kind of looking through that here in the moment. I don't know. Do I like it? Do I not like it? I think I can make up for this a little bit later. So I'm going to lean hard. Do I want... All right. I'm going to go Kyren Williams here. I really want to take another player, but I think ultimately Kyron's probably got a little bit more upside because of his time on the field.
Yeah, I would probably agree with that. After Kyren goes, Chase Brown, Jamie takes Jalen Hurts, Chris Olave's off the board, and that puts me back on the clock here. And a guy that's, I can't believe I'm really looking as hard as I'm looking at and where I think I'm going to go with this pick. But the chemistry was certainly there last year, and I think that expounds here in year 2 with these this quarterback and wide receiver pairing. And I'm going to actually take Cortland Sutton right here in the 4th. After that, Joe Burrow goes, Kenneth Walker goes, Joe Mixon, Chris Godwin. That puts me back on the clock here, and could certainly look at a couple of different ways to look at this and rock and roll here. But one of the guys that does stand out is, there's certainly, we're starting to get into kind of that, a lot of teams' second wide receiver option on there, which isn't a bad way to present that when you're looking at the third third wide receiver for your roster. However, I'm going to go ahead and kick that can down the road, I think, a little bit further. And a guy that's sitting here that I really think will have another good season here and was kind of a last year's darling was Chuba Hubbard.
Okay, so I got Jalen Waddle going after Chuba. Got Jamie back on the clock here. Bijan, McConkey, McCaffrey, Hurts. Like the start to that. See where Jamie's leaning here.
Right, and that team 4 that's auto picking, they have not met a player outside of wide receiver that they like.
Right, and that's the challenge, right? When you're starting, especially a 3 wide receiver league, it is at times a real chore to fill all 3 starting spots. So if you can't do that, you have to be better than everybody else in some area to help make up for that. So we're gonna see how it shakes out for all of us here.
Right.
All right, so Mike Evans, Kyron Williams, Ashton Genty, Jameer Gibbs. All right, so I'm back on the clock here. I am looking at wide receiver here. So here's where I'm torn, right? Just in general, toss it out to the group. I am torn between Jameson Williams and George Pickens because I think both of these guys could have really, really good years. Pickens is on a contract. He knows he's on a contract. Him and Lamb are already getting together. We've seen videos of them kind of going back and forth here about saying there's 2 number ones on the team now. That does have me interested. JMO has progressed every year in the NFL so far. But ultimately, this is where my Georgia Bulldog homerism comes in, and I am going to take the George Pickens flyer and see if I can't catch lightning in a bottle. Metcalf goes right after Pickens. Respectable spot for Metcalf, but with not knowing who's really going to be throwing him the ball was kind of my process of elimination for DK at this moment.
Yeah, that is a tough one to figure out there.
And that was kind of why I passed on that one as well, because I did give Metcalf a really strong look when I was back on the clock, but ultimately had that same conversation with myself. I just don't know who's going to be throwing the ball.
All
and
right,
with that,
so Vince broke his wide receiver streak, right? And he had Nico, AJ Brown, Devonta Adams, Rashee Rice, and then Sam Laporta.
Yep.
Force this pick again. Put me on the clock.
Jameson Williams. That's
goes.
crazy.
Jameson Williams.
We are 4 rounds, almost 5 through this draft, and there have been 4 Detroit Lions taken already?
Yeah, that's crazy.
Gibbs and Amon and JMO now and Laporta going back to back.
Yeah. I think that speaks to kind of where they're at, right? That was a good team last year. The injury bug kind of bit them hard.
So it begs the question,
are they going to be that good?
Well, why aren't you higher on Jared Goff?
Right?
You have 4 of his weapons sitting
That's
up
very
there.
true.
And if we all believe that, why aren't we higher on Jared Goff?
Right?
Yeah.
Just a thought.
I like this point too that Jamie brought up. Monday
he is going to come off the board soon.
Yep.
I anticipate within the next handful of picks that Monty comes off the board. I do need to go receiver here, and I feel very, very good about this one on an offense that is pretty prolific. So I'm going to take Devonta Smith here at receiver. Well, yes, he is a Robin to AJ Brown. That's a pretty strong Robin there to that Batman. So I feel good about that one. There goes Monty right away. So 5 Lions in the first 5 rounds, and not one of them is Jared Goff.
What? And 3 Lions in the last 4 picks.
That's very true. And now Duarte on the turnaround here. goes and takes Travis Kelce, which again, man, 2 years ago, could you imagine this? Travis Kelce in the 6th? Like not a thing, right? Not a thing. And it's pretty crazy how quickly things change year to year, really. Okay, I still need to look and address what I have at the wide receiver position here. But oh man, are some of these other positions kind of tempting at the moment? When it is a start 3, but it is also a 3 flex, and you try to gain your positional advantages where you can. Do I do it? I kind of want to do it. Yeah, I'm doing it. I'm going to take Isaiah Pacheco here in the 6th round, and just hope to God that my running backs can carry the load.
Right. 3 Chiefs players taken in the last 3 picks, with Kelce, Pacheco, and Worthy.
That puts Vince back on the clock here. Vince, is your little character guy, is that a bear? It does look like a bear.
That's what I'm thinking it is a bear.
Jordan Addison and Patrick Mahomes. So there you go. So 4 out of the first 5 picks in the 6th round have been from the Kansas City Chiefs. Let's see here. So there's some options in front of me. So Baker Mayfield's staring me right in the face, which I don't hate, pairing him up with my top receiver. If I'm going to live and die, like I might as well live and die. Baker's put up really good numbers and resurrected his career over the last couple of years here. Is he QB7 to me though? Like it's debatable. If we're looking at wide receiver, Jerry Jeudy scares the crap out of me because we have no idea what is going on in Cleveland with the quarterback situation. Sorry, Jamie, but between that and being scorned by Jerry Jeudy as a Denver fan, I'm kind of torn here. So that leaves us, some running backs: Hampton, Harris, Tracy, Aaron Jones, Tony Pollard. Not necessarily where I want to live here. So I'm going to go ahead and take Baker here. Do I got to take Baker here? Yep. I'm going to take Baker here and say that he's going to have another really strong year in Tampa Bay with all these weapons they've put around him.
All righty. And then Aaron Jones comes off the board, and Jamie's back on the clock here. And so it'll be interesting to see what that looks like. Jamie.
Homer.
I like this one where Jamie says that Jeudy was top 15 last year. Now he has Flacco, who was a top 5 quarterback on the Browns.
He is one of the top 5 quarterbacks on the Browns roster. Yes.
Flacco tore. Listen, 2 years ago when Flacco was on the Browns, it was as close to Jameis Winston football as we've seen in a long time, right? other than Jameis doing it. So I get it, and he's not wrong. He's not.
Right.
I just I don't know what they are. I have no idea what their direction is right now, and so the Browns in general, I'm a little bit scared of, so I stay away.
Oh man.
Yeah. And so I'm on the clock here, and I'm kind of staring down a couple of things. I'm not necessarily in love with a lot of the wide receivers that are options right now. Still need a starting third wide receiver here, but this is again one of those that could go wide receiver, could go tight end. There's still a couple of good tight ends out here. But I am going to go ahead and take take Kyler Murray here, right, as the 8th quarterback off the board. I feel like I'm drafting him about at his floor here. He's got some upside from that, but more over on this one, right? Kevin brought up the point of Jared Goff was there, and with all of these weapons going out of Detroit, why haven't we seen Jared Goff go? I'm a little bit hesitant on a few of the Lions players this upcoming season, just from the standpoint new offensive coordinator change. There's a lot of kind of a lot of coaching changes going on there, and that does concern me slightly. After Kyler Murray goes, Brandon Ayuk goes, Tony Pollard, Khalil Shakir, Jacoby Myers goes. And so that puts me back on the clock here. And at this point, I'm going to go ahead and take the highest rated receiver at this point and hope that we see a big progression in his sophomore season here. And I'm going to go ahead and take the top 10 draft pick last year in Rome Odunze.
Dunze off the board. Mark Andrews goes. Jamie's back on the clock. Sniped Dunze. There you go. Calvin Ridley, Tracy, and then back into my camp here. So, Najee Harris, Jalen Warren, Brian Robinson. So Brian Robinson here doesn't actually scare me, like, especially with it only being a half-point PPR. Like, I feel like he's the guy who just does not get a ton of love. But I don't know. Like, it's not enough to completely square me away here. So I'm going to continue to kind of scroll through. I'm not doing the Jaden Reed experience again. That thing damn near killed me last year. So what I'm gonna take a tight end here, and I'm gonna go with Jonnu Smith. And I want to see, now that teams are playing so differently against the Dolphins, if we continue to see Jonnu just rack up targets.
He was a very clutch player for me last year. I made a deal for him halfway through the year, and he was unbelievably clutch for me down the stretch. After Jonnu Smith, Najee Harris goes. We got a little run of running backs here. DeAndre Swift, and then Brian Robinson comes off the board here. Makes my decision a little bit easier. I'm curious about this, and it's an experiment that I'm not sure that I totally embrace, but I think at this point I'm gonna have to pull this trigger here, because I need to get big points out of players in this wide receiver role. So I'm gonna go Deebo Samuel, who hopefully has a resurgence of sorts over on the East Coast in Washington. Finally, Jared Goff comes off the board as the last pick there in round number 7. And with the first pick in round number 8, the guy that I was hoping would make his way back to me, Cooper Kupp. Well played, Duarte. That's a great pick there. So now what I'm looking at in terms of wide receiver, we have Jaden Reed, and as Kevin so eloquently put, the Jaden Reed experience is not an entirely fun one. At least it wasn't last year. And then you're looking at 2 Indianapolis wide receivers that are right next to each other here, with Josh Downs and Michael Pittman. And there's also Stephon Diggs there in New England in his new home. Going receiver here. I really wish I would have had Cooper Kupp there. That's kind of what's making me have to rework what I'm thinking here. But I'm gonna go Michael Pittman here and hope that there's some sort of magic between him and Richardson.
Fair enough. It seemed like that Kupp pick put you a little bit on tilt there.
It did. It certainly did. I was kind of hoping that I was banking on grabbing Deebo and then bringing Kupp into the fold and moving on, but that did definitely turned what I was thinking.
All right, here. So, I'm back on the clock because we Warren, Etienne, Ramondre go. All right, so I'm going to look at sharing this up, and um, I guess we are going to see how the recovery goes, and if May can take a step forward there in New England. But if he does, he's got to throw the ball to somebody, right? And New England didn't bring Diggs over for big money and not get him the football. So I'm going to go Stephon Diggs here in the 8th and just see what might happen.
I like that pick. I was hoping he'd sneak his way down a little bit further. Same thing with Evan Ingram, who went right after that. I was hoping that he'd be available down there just a little bit further. Jamie takes Josh Downs, and Team 4 takes Jordan Love, which puts me on the clock here and not overly loving a lot of what I'm seeing here. But this would be a good spot for quarterback, right? If you were waiting for quarterback, kind of this little pocket, not a bad little pocket with Jordan Love kind of going around this position, Justin Herbert, Bo Nix, Brock Purdy, all available as potential guys to take there. But
Yeah, I regret the Mayfield pick.
One couple rounds too early
I just
there.
do, right? Yeah, I think I pulled the trigger a little early. I should have gone another direction.
That's kind of what I'm feeling about the Kyler pick, because I'd rather have taken another wide receiver there in the 6th, and then and then here at the 8th take my quarterback. So, but what is done, and that's where we're at there. But another guy that I think would that I think is a suffering a little bit from a kind of how that last season played out, which was a very injury shortened season, and the emergence of a young rookie that was drafted as well, kind of shortened his season down. But Christian Kirk's a guy that as my 4th wide receiver, I don't feel bad about putting on that roster there. After that, Jalen McMillan goes, David Njoku, Tajay Spears, Jaden Reed goes after that. Puts me back on the clock here. And, certainly if you're looking for quarterback, right here at the 9 round would be about the way to do that, with lots of good options there. I'm putting, and then looking forward at this thing, could look at tight end. We still need a tight end. I'm not necessarily in love with what's on the board there, but I think we are still going to go with tight end and go with Jake Ferguson.
I don't mind that pick there.
All right. Caleb Williams going after Ferguson. Jamie on the clock here, seeing how he's going to start to round out his team here in the middle to late phase.
This Team 4 is so curious. 5 wideouts, 1 running back.
Goes with Tet.
Tight end and 2 quarterbacks.
Quarterbacks, right? Jamie went with Tet McMillan. Team 6 is going Justin Herbert to pair up with Josh Allen. This isn't a super flex league. AI, pull your head out.
It's also screwing me over here.
All right. So I'm going to make the bit of a jump here, and I'm going to go down. And this is why I did not take Brandon Ayuk, is because I really like Ricky Pearsall here in these middle rounds. I think the closer we get to the start of the season, September, we'll see him go a couple rounds earlier as we get closer to the kickoff for the NFL season here. So I like Pearsall being my 4th receiver, who's probably going to turn up into my 3rd by the time it's all said and done with.
After the Pearsall pick there, it's Bo Nix, then RJ Harvey comes off the board to Vince. Don't think you have a lot of people in this room that will complain about that pick there. Brock Purdy comes off the board. I still need a quarterback. I have filled out my starting positions with wide receiver and running back and my tight end. Quarterbacks right now, I'm looking at CJ Stroud, Dak Prescott, Tua Tagovailoa, Drake May, Trevor Lawrence, Matt Stafford still on the board, your usual cast of characters. And I feel fairly confident that I'm okay with any one of those four. So I'm going to stay away from quarterback this round because I don't think there's a huge positional advantage to be gained there. So puts me at what I need to do here at either wide receiver or running back. Best available is Rico Dowdle there in Carolina behind a Chuba Hubbard who was good. I think I'll take Dowdle here and round out my starting flex spots here. So I've got a lot of running backs in my flex spots. All right, after Dowdle, we see Rachaad White come off the board. It's a sneaky pick there. If Bucky Irving does go down, that's not a bad play there. CJ Stroud comes off.
Unpopular opinion, Rachaad White will outproduce Bucky Irving in fantasy points this year.
I don't like that from my second round pick there, but
Derek's not a fan of that.
Like I'll put it on the air. Rachaad White will outproduce Bucky in fantasy points this year.
Yeah. All right. Here's where I feel pretty good about getting my quarterback, and I'm gonna hope that Dak's figured it out, and we'll take Dak here.
All righty. And Jamie was not a fan of your Dwaddle pick.
You know what? Jamie's not been a fan of anything I've done here, and let's be honest, you're probably right, man.
All right, here. So
I'm not gonna fight you on this one. You're probably right.
Dak went, then Dalton Kincaid, Javonte Williams, Tucker Kraft. Back over to me here. So I'm still kind of rounding some things out. Need one more flex that's going to start, but that doesn't necessarily mean one thing or the other to me. But I am staring at another receiver who I like here in these middle to late rounds. Big play ability. I think he has. I think for the flex position, I'll like him just fine here, and then he'll be able to fill in on bye weeks and injuries. And that is one Darnell Mooney.
Okay. I certainly don't mind that pick. J.K. Dobbins goes after that, puts Jamie back on the clock. We'll see what Jamie does here.
Keenan Allen.
That'd be funny.
I was like,
Travion Henderson goes. I don't mind that pick, especially in the 10th round. They could have some good upside there. Puts me back on the clock here, and certainly a couple of different ways that it could go. Again, like this is certainly don't mind the quarterback pocket that we've kind of stumbled into, but I'm going to go ahead and take a shot here on another young wide receiver that was drafted with high upside, and who knows, we may see him emerge as the wide receiver 1 out in Buffalo. So I'm going to take Keon Coleman here. After that, Zach Charbonnet, Keenan Allen, Tua, Drake May go. Puts me back on the clock here. And again, right, could look at several different ways. If I was really feeling froggy about picking up a second quarterback, could be an option here. But, it's a single QB league and not going to do that. Would pick that up if with some different type of options there. But a guy out there that I've been listening to one of my co-hosts talk extensively about this guy and talking about the upside and here in the 11th round, I feel like this is very much worth a shot with Caleb Johnson.
What a jerk.
Thank you. I know I've been talking about him a lot, so I appreciate you listening to me.
Oh, man. So Tank Bigsby goes after that. Jamie's back here on the clock.
I love the fact that I keep sniping Jamie, he says.
But Jamie.
So we were all
too
thinking the
here.
same thing. Derek, Jamie, and I were all thinking the same thing. We all
Yeah.
had Caleb eyed for this round. Like, all right, note to self: you got to get him in the 10th. Okay,
Right. Like I knew that there was no way he was making it back to me in the 12th. So I'm like,
No.
well, if we're going to take this shot, this is the shot to take.
yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Jamie obviously has a bit of a bias here with his running back selection from the last round. So
I don't mind Judkins. Like my biggest
I
worry
think
about
that
Judkins is his
he was on my
ability
queue.
to. My biggest thing about him is his ability to like run after the catch. Like I just don't know that he sets his feet fast enough.
Yeah.
And gets out and creates enough separation on his routes. Now, get the ball in his hands, like straightforward at someone. I like it a lot. I struggle with that a little bit for him. It's all things to work on. Who knows? He could have that improved. All right, Bigsby. So then Juwan Jennings went. Amari Cooper went. Glad I didn't have to worry about that. And then it is back to me. So let's see here. I don't love anything.
Just real quick while you're thinking.
Yeah, right. Sorry, I was reading that. I stopped talking because I was reading it.
Says Judkins is a beast, but and is a big fan of him, but still want no pieces of the Browns this season. Sorry, Jamie. That's a good one, Vince.
Jamie
Um,
with his orange Kool-Aid here, following it up.
Yeah,
Hey.
saying Judkins is a comparable player. Comparable is Nick Chubb, and Chubb was top 5 in that offense.
Sure.
Well, I got to see somebody.
You got
That
to take the
offense?
flyers. Like,
Right.
there's nothing wrong with taking Judkins here.
Yeah.
Like,
Right.
you got to take the flyer on some of these young guys. Like,
True.
there is an overwhelming amount of data that's piling in that these recent rookies don't have a year 2 breakout. They have a year 1 breakout. And so
Right.
we got to retrain ourselves a little bit on some of these rookies and myself included. So I've been really rookie adverse here for the last few years, and after kind of sitting down and looking at some things, I need to stretch myself further and take that risk, because you never know. It's, good situation, ton of talent. Like the biggest part about the Browns in general is, are they going to be leading enough games for Judkins to continue to get fantasy points, or are they going to just dump the ball off to Ford? Like that in general is a challenge, but nevertheless, back to my pick. I'm just stocking up receiver right now. Rashid Shaheed. We don't know who the quarterback is, but he's the deep threat, so he's gonna get opportunities.
Yeah, if you got somebody that can throw the ball 40 yards down the field at least twice a game, Rashid Shaheed should be all right.
My guess is that they will have somebody at quarterback in this upcoming season. All right. After Shaheed is Dallas Goedert goes back-to-back tight ends here for Team 8. Then we have Jordan Mason, Jerome Ford. Puts me back on the clock here. And I'm at depth pieces at this point. We are filling bench spots. And I'm going to start taking flyers here and just hope for upside is what I'm after. So I'm going to go Austin Eckler at this point and see if Brian Robinson can be all that he can be, or if Eckler's going to be a touchdown hawk there. Garendo goes. Wan'Dale Robinson goes. I'm back on the clock here. And if I didn't already take Michael Pittman, I'd probably take A.D. Mitchell here. But instead, I'm looking at a wide receiver. And I just want to check a quick depth chart as we sit here on May 20th. Yeah, I feel okay with this. We're going to take Mika Ibuka down there in Tampa.
I do like the fact that every time you pick a running back, Jamie has something to say about it.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Bad pick. Thanks, Jamie. Appreciate you.
And real quick, just I'm sorry. Go ahead, Kevin. You're on the clock.
Oh, I gotta find my guy here.
While you're finding, I'd really like the pick that Vince made there. Marvin Mims was definitely on my short list on the way back, but Team 10 took Hollywood Brown, then Marvin Mims, then Quentin Johnston.
So I'm gonna grab Jaden Blue here. He's another guy that I've grabbed in a lot of rookie drafts. Grabbing him late in these drafts because I'm not sure that Javonte Williams is going to carry that mantle. And quite frankly, I think Jaden Blue is already better than Javonte Williams. So I would not be surprised if he ends up with at least the higher snap share as the season goes on in Dallas.
Okay. Then Blake Corum goes. Jamie's back on the clock there. Real quick, while Jamie's kind of going through his pick there.
I think Blue's 2 years away from being 2 years away.
That's good. I've never heard that one. That's good stuff.
Oh, that's awesome. That's awesome.
I think I might have to start incorporating that. That's really good.
That is really good. I like that, Vince. Real quick, we did have some comments. Jamie saying that he thinks Sampson beats out Ford during the season. Anything can happen, sure. Vince saying Tyler Shook is so old that he's retro. I like it. That's funny. Alrighty. Jason.
Those 8-year stars.
Hold on. Oh, yeah. Go ahead.
Jason having the question, why are people not caring about Deontay Johnson?
He's a bum.
Quite frankly, we haven't seen him catch on at any of the stops that he's made since Pittsburgh. And I don't know that changes here. I like Jamie saying that he takes Roschon at the 101.
Yeah. Roschon. So Jamie comes in and is like, I'm going to take that better running back than Eckler. And he proceeds to take Roschon Johnson. Come on now.
Yeah, well. Yeah. Tyler Algier goes after Roschon, and then I'm back on the clock. And certainly if I was looking to take my second quarterback, some good options here, but not looking to go that route. Certainly, kind of looking through this. I'm going to go ahead and take a guy that manages just to kind of find his way into fantasy relevance for at least 3 or 4 games, typically very early in the season. So I'm going to go ahead and take Adam Thielen here. Oh, I like this one. Vince chiming in saying, because Deontay Johnson doesn't care about Deontay Johnson. Vince has got the one-liners going today. And Jamie saying Ben Johnson, number 2 running back in that offense, better than Swift.
Okay. I mean, he might be better, but is he going to get more usage?
So I will see. Right, it's all possible there. After
it's May 20th, I have no idea what's happening in any of these camps right now.
So after Thielen goes, Kyle Pitts goes. Kyle Pitts, seeming the draft stock has finally caught up after all of the hype.
I love that pick in the 12th, though.
Yes,
like I had him earmarked for either the 13th or 14th round. Like I love that pick this late because it's nothing but upside. If he bums out, he bums out. You drop him. Who cares? Like,
right?
If not, and he finally hit.
Kevin just doesn't know how to quit that man.
No, I don't have to quit him this late though.
Right.
Like, and that's the thing. When you're getting him as the 16th tight end off the board or 17th tight end off the board, whatever he is in this draft, you don't have to worry about quitting him. Like, it's just an upside play.
Right.
And he flames out. He flames out. Like he's first guy that you're dropping for a waiver wire edition.
Exactly. Then Hunter Henry, DeAndre Hopkins, Ray Davis goes, and that puts me back on the clock here. You know what? I'm going to go ahead and take a guy that quite frankly, I don't know that, we've seen flashes and they'll probably have one or two big games here and just hope that you can pick the right week to start him. And I'm going to take Romeo Dobbs.
Oh, that's the challenge with him, right? Is can you pick the right week to start him?
Right. From there, Rashad Bateman goes, and that puts Jamie back on the clock. Jamie's saying we need more rounds.
Sure, Jamie, but some of us need to sleep at some point this year.
For the sake of the show, it works.
Right.
There you go. So Cam Scatabo, I don't mind that pick
Actually
this
pretty
late.
good
Again,
pick
you got to
there.
take your flyer on these guys and try and see where they may turn up. I'm torn here between two rookies. But I'm not going to get invested in like a 5-headed backfield with Tootin. So screw it. I'm going to go the unicorn, Travis Hunter, and see if he can make a name for himself as a number 2 receiver on a team that's going to be losing a lot of football games. There's a lot of opportunity for targets right there. If that's where it's going to land.
You see some of the video of him that
Stumbling through routes. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes, I did.
We'll see what happens. All right.
I'm going to chalk it up as you can make the numbers look like anything you want.
Yeah.
Right.
Fair.
There's good statistics and bad statistics all the way around. So they picked the worst moments he had and didn't show any of the best.
Yeah. All right. So after Travis Hunter, Braylon Allen goes, Cedric Tillman, Jalen Wright comes off the board, puts me back on the clock. 2 picks left here.
Jalen Wright this late's interesting.
Yeah.
I'm also I wish he didn't go to Green Bay, but I don't. I think that Golden is like tempting at this point, and that Green Bay team has just got so many just things working against it.
They're always hurt though.
I know they are always hurt. Goodness gracious.
Like,
I know what I'm going to do with my last pick.
Taking a page out of the Chargers playbook. Like their players are just always hurt.
Yeah. I know what I want to do with my last pick. Luther Burden looks pretty intriguing here, but I've already got DJ Moore on this team. So like that feels kind of like a, it's not a handcuff situation there. To be honest, I have no idea what I want to do here.
There's not enough footballs to go around for Burden to be useful this year.
All right. Well, Alex is
injury, unfortunately.
Right.
And I like the kid a lot. It's just bad situation for me, at least how I look at it.
Right.
Go ahead, Derek.
Well, while Alex is thinking there, we got a couple of comments we'll hit up here. Jason saying Bretton Strange is new tight end for Jacksonville. Well, 3 years new. Yeah. Certainly has been riding the pine there a little bit behind that. I did like Vince chiming in saying that he lied. There is one Browns piece that he doesn't mind taking a flyer on it, and said that right as he was making that Charles Tillman pick. So
I don't mind Tillman being his 6th receiver though.
Right.
7th receiver. Like hell, there's nothing wrong with that.
Right. There you go, Alex. Is Jamie saying Golden or Trey Harris are steals this late?
And like Golden does seem like the guy here. And honestly, like I think that's probably
you're just delaying your own bedtime at this point.
I am. I really am. For no reason. It's not like we're using this team ever. Yeah, I'll go Matthew Colton here. And then after Golden goes, Tyler Warren comes off the board. Duarte with the last pick of his draft, the first pick of the final round, and he selects. Or they select.
Did you just pronoun them?
Because I'm not actually sure who this person is, so I didn't want to assume.
So AD Mitchell comes off the
80
board.
Mitchell. So somebody on my short list too, but I already had Michael Pittman. All right, my last pick. I'll go JJ McCarthy here. What the hell? Maybe he catches lightning in a bottle.
Okay. McLaughlin, Justin Fields. I like that Trey Benson pick. Like that's another guy. If James Conner goes down, Benson has it. So I'm going to take a bit of the pressure off of Jamie because I know he wants to see both these guys go, and I agree. But for some reason my app is stuck on Alex's.
That happened to me too.
Yeah, I've had that happen. I just had to exit out.
Here we go.
Yeah.
Sorry guys. I got it. And I got it fixed now. So I'm gonna grab Trey Harris.
All righty. And after Trey Harris, Pratt Fryermuth goes.
There you go. Grab Golden, Jamie. We all know where you're going at this point.
I already took him.
Yep.
You can't grab him.
You took him.
I did.
Oh, I lost your team. It's hidden by your face.
Oh, that's interesting because your team is hidden by your face. On my view.
I like that when Jamie said you just sniped him. So that's hilarious.
Jamie's getting sniped left and right over here.
Yeah. So he goes Jaden Higgins, then Zach Ertz goes. Couple of quick things here, right? Vince was saying Higgins was a bargain.
Sorry. I said that's the damage between drafting me and Derek. We do that to each other all the time.
Yes. It's a lot of fun. Jamie's saying, how about the number 2 wide receiver for CJ Stroud? He's already on my team with Christian Kirk. I'm sorry, Jamie.
I disagree.
I'm just poking fun here. I do like Jason's thought that there's 200 evacuated targets in Jacksonville between Christian Kirk and Evan Ingram, and they have the most evacuated targets in the league. So certainly worth something looking at there. This is a guy that, quite frankly, we've seen at this point. I'm taking the shot and taking the flyer on. And even though I already have a tight end on the roster on this one, but we've seen 2 years in a row now, rookies emerge and be the tight end number 1 overall for fantasy. And I'm hoping that this next pick that I'm going to do is that guy. So I'm going to take Loveland with this pick here. All right.
That's an intriguing one. That's an intriguing one.
Yep. And then Dylan Sampson goes and Nick Chubb goes to complete the draft here.
Nick Chubb not on a team. Team 1. Let's take a look at Team 1 here because they are just wild.
Old. That team is old as dirt.
Old and just
with 4 wide receivers and one of them currently not on a roster.
Yeah. 2 of them. Oh no, just Keenan Allen.
Just Keenan Allen.
I can't see who else he took.
Yeah, Chubb's not on a team though. So.
Right.
Yeah, running back that's not on a team. All right, how you feel about your team there, guys?
I would have changed up how I did my first couple of rounds and changed up when I took quarterback, and looked heavier, more so at some wide receivers there. But overall, I feel like my team can compete.
Yeah, I can echo that. I feel like I made up with wide receiver a bunch of big shots late, right? I mean, Pearsall arguably could be the number 1 receiver in San Francisco this year, right? Debo's gone. We're not quite sure if Brandon Ayuk actually wants to play for the Niners still or not. Pearsall had a really good end to the year last year, so I like that as an upside play. Mooney and Shaheed are deep play threats, but sometimes you run up against a giant and you just need some home run plays. Part of that 200 targets that got evacuated in Jacksonville, Travis Hunter trying to, take half that or so. So I think I made up for a little bit. I went quarterback was too early. I like Bo Nix. I like Justin Herbert. I like Brock Purdy. I like Caleb Williams. I like everybody that went there in that 9th round in that range well enough that I feel like, Herbert or Nix would probably be my top 2, followed by Caleb Williams, seeing if he can take that step forward. So I think I definitely could have waited on quarterback there, but
You
I also
say that though. I distinctly recall when you were making that pick on Baker, and you were just kind of in like
and that's the
blah
thing. Like I'm
territory,
looking
right?
around there, like I don't
Yeah,
love it. Like I would have taken a flyer on Addison had he got to me,
sure.
but he didn't. Okay. I said why I didn't care for Jerry Judy. I
Uh-huh.
specifically passed on Ayuk because I knew I was targeting Pearsall later. So what I could have done, honestly, I could have gone Jacoby Myers, or Khalil Shakir. I
Right.
could have,
Yeah.
you know,
Yeah.
pulled early on one of those 2 guys, and I think I, would have lived for sure. But that's a tough round for me because I don't overwhelmingly love anything that's coming off the board in the 6th. But after we get past the 6th and late 7th into the 8th, I like it again. So I just got to figure out what I want to do.
Yeah.
Yeah. It seems to be kind of the point there for both of you guys, right? Like it was just kind of blah territory there in the 6th round. Meanwhile, I think I kind of hamstrung myself. Feel pretty good about the first 2 picks, and then rounds 3, 4, and 5. I think I did not. Well, 3 and 4. I think that little turn there kind of set me up for not great things. Taking Hawkinson so early, I think, is fine, but certainly there were other pieces that I could have gone with. The Rashee Rice pick would have been good there. Olave and Sutton were still on the board at that point. Olave kind of scares me just with the quarterback situation as we sit here in the end of May. But yeah, I feel like Hawkinson early there kind of took me out of things as I went running back heavy, but need to recognize it's a 3 wideout league.
Right. Yeah, so certainly some interesting things that kind of played out there. I do like this one that Jimmy's saying, why is Penix so far down, ADP down? We saw some things, but we didn't see enough flashes for him to go, top 20 at this point?
Yeah, and this is a single quarterback league, right? So
You could argue him over McCarthy or Fields.
Oh,
yeah,
for sure.
But
Sure. Like,
other than that,
I wouldn't fight you on that. I just took McCarthy because I thought it'd be fun.
oh yeah, there's nothing wrong with that. I just, he was 57% completion percentage in his starts last year. His biggest passing yardage game came with 0 touchdowns. And again, look at who the Falcons played when Penix started last year. Played the New York Giants, they were out of it. The Carolina Panthers, they were out of it, and a Washington Commanders team who absolutely was fighting for something, but they knew they weren't going to win the division at that point. So you're just gearing yourself up for the playoffs. So I don't know if that 3-game sample size was quite enough for me to hop all aboard the Penix freight train, but I am intrigued to see what it does for Drake London.
Yeah, may as well. Jason chiming in asking, can Mahomes ever be his self again?
Yeah. Listen, I felt last year was going to be that year. And I think we were really seeing signs of that until Rice went down.
Yeah.
And when Rice went down, it did kind of throw off the chemistry with the wide receiver room. You had to have guys step up who weren't quite ready to step up. Worthy started to kind of get the hang of things later on, but you had to bring Hardman back. Hollywood Brown was in and out of the lineup a little bit. Travis Kelce, obviously another year older. Pacheco spent time, sidelined. So I don't know that you will see top 5 Mahomes. But I do think that he could get back up and live in the top 10.
Right. Well, and quite frankly, the way that their defense has stepped up over the last few years, right? Like that's a defensive unit that's been getting better and better and better, compared to the first couple of years that he was in the league, where they had to, right? The Chiefs for a long time had to go out and put up 35 plus points a game in order to win games, whereas if they're able to get the job done now with, you know, 20 to 25 points in a game, right? So the some of that is the difference of having a more well-rounded team too, I think. So alrighty. A couple other points here. Jamie saying that, or Vince saying the Chiefs don't need fantasy dreamboat Patrick Mahomes. They have bigger fish to fry, which very well could be. And Jamie chiming in saying Josh Beck is an interest point at this time.
If you think there's going to be enough balls to go around,
Right.
like I like the player. I don't love the offense that he's going into, just because I think Pete Carroll's going to, a lot of Ashton Genty, and this offense is a big reason why I'm off Brock Bowers this year too. Show me a season where Pete Carroll and his staff have focused in and made a tight end a true producer. Right? They've had flashes from 2 or 3 different guys intermittently through a season or a couple seasons in Seattle, but there was
they even traded for a real tight end receiving threat, right? That was part of the Wilson deal, and it just never materialized.
Well, that, and even before that, right? They did the Jimmy Graham experience late in his career.
Yeah.
And it kind of worked when Russ was there, but you still didn't. Like, he was still part of a 3-headed monster at tight end. And Brock Bowers is better than any of those players were in that stage, right? I'm not going to say better than Jimmy Graham. We have to let his career play out, although I think he is. I just, the scheme scares me. And I think we'll get Jacoby Myers. We'll see his fair share of targets, but then I think it's going to be Ashton Genty. He's going to be probably your second leading receiver, whether it is Bowers or Myers. Like, I think Genty could be number 2 in this team. Like, taking Geno, who's not afraid to check the ball down. I wouldn't be surprised if Genty saw 350 touches his rookie year. And just really start to hammer it out, because there's nothing really behind him on the depth chart. And you're going to want to keep him on the field whether you win, lose, or shine. So Vegas is going to be tough. It's going to be tough this year to get multiple producers out of that team. And you have 3 guys who you should like. Myers is probably a little disrespected, but Bowers, who's going astronomically high, Genty, who, he'll absolutely go in the first round as we get closer to the start of the season. There's going to be too many people wanting to take a flyer on that. He's definitely gone in the second, if not. So it just scares me for the number 2 receiver in Vegas right now. Take my flyers on other rookies.
Right. Alrighty. I do believe that that's going to take us down here to the end of it. Any final thoughts out there for the viewers and listeners?
Thanks for everybody jumping on. Right. It was really fun. Right. It was fun having a bigger cast to group with and seeing some real thought behind it. I know sometimes the AI outputs get a little confusing and kind of distort what we're doing here to do these mock drafts and how we kind of speak about them and where we see players and this, that, and the other. So it was nice to see all the participation. So thank you for tuning in. Thank you for allowing us to come in here every week and do what we love to do.
Hope everyone stays safe this weekend and can reflect and enjoy what we've got.
Absolutely. And we'll be continuing some of these mocks going forward. We're gonna have to get into an auction salary cap type of type of mock here in one of these episodes coming up here. That should be a lot of fun. And then, on the horizon here too, quickly approaching, we're going to start getting those player breakdowns and really diving into that. But that is going to do it for us tonight. We'll be okay. This one's too good. I gotta bring this one up, Jamie, with the final thought there as well. If you can't dazzle them with your brilliance, just baffle them with your fantasy football takes. I like that.
I wonder if he's going back to my Rashad White over.
I gotta come back with. Hold on, what was that? He's 2 years away from being 2 years away.
Yes,
that's
really
what
it was.
That's really good.
Yeah,
that's great.
Yeah, that was really good. Vince had that one. So
yeah, good job, Vince. Thanks for tuning in. Thanks for drafting with us.
Alex is writing that one down so we can throw it out at someone in our home league.
Yes, he is. All right,
I'm gonna use it at work.
I like that too. But no, that is gonna do it for us tonight, and do appreciate everybody tuning in, chiming in, all the participation. Kevin, echoing what Kevin said, was a lot of fun, and really do appreciate everybody having fun and enjoying the draft with us. And remember, we'll be back again 11 p.m. Eastern next Tuesday as we rock and roll through some more of this. But that's gonna do it for us tonight. He's Kevin, he's Alex, I'm Derek. Have a good one. Be safe. Toodaloos.